All right, today we're diving into something that's basically a secret weapon in the digital world, the priority queue. Now, I know it sounds a bit technical, but stick with me. It's actually a concept you already get. You just might not know the name for it yet. So, what do a hospital ER, a GPS, and your computer all have in common? Yeah, it sounds like the setup for a pretty terrible joke, right? But the answer is this really elegant idea from computer science. It's a brilliant way of managing tasks where not everything gets treated equally. Let's break it down like this. Imagine you're at a coffee shop. It's simple. First in line, first to get coffee. First come, first served. That's a standard queue. But now, think about an emergency room. Someone with a critical injury is always going to be seen before someone with a minor sprain, even if that person with the sprain got there an hour earlier. Why? Because the ER doesn't care when you arrived. It cares about what's most urgent. It runs on priority. And that right there, that gets us to the heart of the matter. We're talking about the priority problem. You see, just lining things up and dealing with them one by one, that model completely falls apart in a lot of critical situations. We're talking about when lives are at stake, or when your GPS has to find the fastest route, or when your computer needs to handle a critical error right now, not after it's done downloading a file. The stakes for getting the order wrong can be huge. So the big question is, how do you build a system that thinks like that ER doctor instead of the coffee shop barista? Well, the solution is a little more sophisticated than just a simple line. It's called, you guessed it, a priority queue. And it's pretty much what it sounds like. It is a waiting line, sure, but every single item in that line has a priority tag attached to it. And that tag is everything. It's what decides who's next, not how long they've been waiting. And this is the absolute key difference, right? A normal queue is just asking, who got here first? A priority queue is constantly asking a much smarter question. What is the most important thing to do right now? Whatever has the highest priority gets to jump straight to the front of the line every single time. It's always ready to go next. Okay, but hold on. If things are constantly jumping to the front of the line, wouldn't that be a total mess to manage? I mean, how do computers keep track of all that shuffling without slowing to a crawl? Well, this is where it gets really clever. The secret sauce is a special data structure called a binary heap. You can think of it as a perfectly designed sorting machine, just for priorities. Its entire structure is built for one purpose, to make finding and dealing with that top priority item incredibly fast. Now, these heaps come in two basic flavors. You've got your min heap, where the smallest number has the highest priority. That's perfect for something like finding the shortest path for a GPS. And then you have the max heap, where the biggest number is the most important. That's great for things like scheduling computer tasks based on how much power they need. So, how does a new, super important item get to the front so quickly? It doesn't just rudely shove its way through the line. Instead, it gets placed at the very end. And then it bubbles up. It quickly swaps places with the items above it, one by one, until it finds its perfect spot in the priority order. It sounds complicated, but for a computer, this process is lightning fast. And this really spells out why this matters so much. If you just tried to use a simple list, it would get slow really fast. You'd have to search the whole thing every time something new was added. But with a binary heap, it's a complete game changer. Adding or removing an item takes what's called logarithmic time. Now, don't worry about the term. Here's what it means. You can go from 100 items to 1,000,000, and the time it takes to add one more barely even changes. It's just wildly efficient. Okay, so we have this super efficient system for managing priorities. Let's start connecting the dots. Where do you actually see this stuff in action? The answer is pretty much everywhere. Ever used your phone for directions? Then you've used a priority queue. Powerful algorithms like Dijkstra's are constantly looking at all the possible routes, and they use a min heap to keep the shortest, most promising path right at the top of the to-do list. It's the exact same idea that lets a character in a video game find their way across a map without getting stuck. And inside your own computer, priority queues are basically the air traffic controllers. They tell the CPU what to work on next. They handle sudden, urgent system interrupts. They're even used to compress files efficiently by prioritizing the most common letters. They also help big websites balance all their traffic so they don't crash when everyone logs on at once. Seriously, the list just goes on and on. They are the engine behind complex scientific simulations. They form the digital logic for medical triage systems, and they're how robots plan out their most efficient sequence of moves. Basically, anytime a system needs to make the best possible choice from a sea of options, you can bet a priority queue is in there doing the heavy lifting. So after seeing all this, when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway? What's the one big idea to remember here? It really all comes down to this. In a complex world, that simple first come, first served idea is often just not good enough. The real power comes from being able to figure out, from moment to moment, what is the most critical thing to do. Ultimately, by intelligently sorting everything by importance instead of just arrival time, priority queues make our technology faster, smarter, and way more reliable. They find the best path, they manage our computer's resources, and they make sure the critical stuff always gets the attention it deserves. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought. We know how computers prioritize, so how do you? We all face a constant stream of tasks and to-do lists. Maybe thinking like a priority queue isn't such a bad strategy for our own lives. Always asking, what's really the most important thing to do next?